Good evening, my people. So, like I promised, I said we'll talk about something different, although not very, important, but different, different from the usual Naburuha and his minions and their doings. Although, it happened, it shele. So, and the video I did yesterday, they seized it. So, Facebook have not published the video since yesterday on Blessedom page. So I don't know what's up with that. They will seize it, and then after some time they will release it. They will say they are processing it. So since yesterday, the video I did, they have not published it. You see, so I don't know why they are holding the video, because I follow the community guideline. You guys, I always try not to, go over my boundaries. And the audio that I was playing from Nnaburuha, where he was giving all the command of bye, ki, is on Facebook. They have not pulled it down. It's published by the IPOP people, or it's on Facebook. So most of the videos I'm even playing back is already on Facebook. It's not like I went to a manufacturer. So if these videos are already on their Facebook and they are using Facebook to propagate all the evil that they end up to commit, and I'm just kind of replaying it. So I don't know what is the problem. So I don't know whether there's someone that is working with them that is an employee of Facebook. I don't know what is going on, because I don't know what could have been wrong, that they will seize all the videos all the time and say they are processing it. Like, it's just kind of awkward. It's awkward. But anyway, I just wanted to I just felt a little bit happy about it. And Facebook, there's nothing you can do. You don't know what you can do about it. Good evening, Umahi. I greet you. Good evening, my people. You're welcome. So, as we are going into this discussion, it's going to be another discussion that will look like hate. You hate your own people. You don't like your own people. But this is proving to be an endemic. When I say endemic means something, a disease that is prevalent in a particular region, in a particular population, in a particular distribution of people, of humans. When you say something is endemic, that is really, really persistent in that place. So, for example, we just suffer from a pandemic. A pandemic is spread across different countries, all over the world. That is a pandemic. An epidemic is also spreading, but an endemic problem is something that is peculiar to a people, like is persistent, is prevalent, is very widespread. And all you need to do is go to Twitter, go to any social platform, go to Google and type Igbo women maltreating their word, their maid, whatever. You begin to see it's getting out of hand. And the first solution can only come when you face the problem. And when you look at the problem and you feel like there's no problem there's no problem there. And the amazing thing is, the people that are going around the whole country every day shouting for freedom, talking about being marginalized in their own homes across this Nigeria, across everywhere, they don't recognize human rights of the people living with them. And every time they bring up this topic, you need to hear the tale of woes people will be telling, trauma that people have escaped from as children, that they were helpless, nobody to speak for them. People begin to write their experience, and you will read and you will cry. Like, some people, they are not even able to express what they have gone through. In the hands of the people that cry the most about freedom, but they have no recognition of the right to the life of young children that are living on their care, of the right to their own liberty, to good food, nothing more. Like, they take somebody and put the person under slavery. And this is a prevalent issue is going on. And thank you. And to add on top of it, they are Christians. So what is the Christian virtue that is showing when you are predominantly Christian population and you have an endemic problem that children that is in the household that are not born from that family are undergoing the worst thing that can happen to any human being on this planet Earth in this century? Greetings, Chukwu Emeka, I greet you. Ilias, I greet you. Good evening, Mendes. Chide, I cite you. So I feel like if something is an endemic, then it has to be looked into, you understand? If something is an endemic, it has to be looked into and find out what is the root cause of this problem. What is the problem that is causing this disease? Where is it coming from? You look for the source. You look for how to overcome it, how to remove it. You understand? So at the end of the day, you cannot change a reality that is there before you. It doesn't matter how you look away, how you try to explain it. So there was a video that was not a video, actually a post. It happened in Jos, and yesterday, I think day before yesterday, and they said the woman was living with that girl. It's one of the girls that were trying to escape Boko Haram or something like that, and she came into contact with these people, and then they promised so many things that they will put them in school and all those kind of a thing, which they, of course, they never did. And now, that child was rescued from them. I want to open it. I don't know. I don't think I will show the picture of the child, but I will share the link. I'll share the link. It said the police operatives in Jos have arrested one Mrs. Nnemeka Nwachukwu, a microbiologist with one of the research institute in W0m area of the state, for allegedly, torture. You know what they do best? An 11-year-old maid. So on the first hand, there are two aspects of it, of course. The first one is, for example, people who have children that they can't take care of. But then life happens. Sometimes people lose their life, they leave their children, something. So many things can happen: divorce, separation. So many things can happen that will make family go into poverty. And number two, the government that is not giving welfare, that has no form of social welfare for the people. So the people are, lost, are left in the care of being recycled within the family members who they think they have better, or they can do better for them. And then the whole problem starts, because they are there, the women don't answer to anybody, their welfare, nobody comes to ask for this child, or how is the child doing, whatever. They can do anything they like, and many times those children, they buy them and nobody will still ask. That one will pass. So many of the cases that make headlines on Facebook, on social media, after a while it dies down. You never hear anything again. There's no follow-up. The media doesn't follow up. You don't know what happened. So and then they will be making it like a moral issue and say, oh, it's not good, if you can't take care of person. But it is a crime, and if you don't criminalize it, this woman will not stop. If you don't criminalize it, the men that marry these kind of women, they will continue to be doing like mumu in their own house. But when they come outside, they will be saying, hey, oh, this governor did not do well. Hey, oh, this chairman is not doing well. Hey, oh, this president is the worst. But inside your house, you can't even do well. You can't even guarantee safety of people inside your house. You can't even guarantee human rights of somebody that's inside your house. But you can see that the governor is not doing well. Local pastors are still, everybody is still, everything starts from the home. But this epidemic is getting too much. So they said, the woman was dealing with the small girl, and now the girl don't buy. It was gathered that Kebbi State-born victim, identified as Margaret Joshua. So the girl herself is from Kebbi, And she, she she's obviously a Christian because she's answering Margaret Joshua. So a northern Muslim ended up being pied by a Christian Southeasterner. Hmm? A northern Muslim, sorry, a northern Christian girl that thinks that she's going to be safe in the hands of her fellow Christian. You know, northern Christian and southeast Christian. She's thinking, oh, they will think that, oh, she will be better off. They are Christians, we are Christian. It will be better for her to go to a Christian family. And what did they do? They ended up buying her. So they said during a recent Ipiotale, the girl was forced out to sit in a container on top of waterway hut, eh, and then born in Bombom again. And then later on Monday, on the 14th of November, this small girl kpai. Wetin dem dey gain for dis thing? And all dis one, wetin dey pay me for dis thing be say all dis people they will still be say freedom, dis marginalization is too much. The thing you are doing inside your house, you don't even have any sense of equity, you don't have any sense of justice, you don't have any sense of human rights inside your own house. You cannot be equitable, you cannot distribute whatever you have equitably within your own household. Wetin small pikin of 11 years do husband and dis woman and im wife when dem kpai di small girl? Wetin be di pepper and salt wey di girl do wey una no fit leave am, wey una no fit carry am go give am back where una see am? And they will be doing the thing, no go reach there. They go be looking for the one wey go pay the person pass. They go still be, the thing used to marvel me. Like you carry something, you want to beat somebody, you go beat someone you never do. You go see the person don't dey on the ground, the person they cry, you go still they beat, they go call they owe you. Like I say, wetin dey happen? Where is this problem coming from? I think this thing needs to be looked into. It's an epidemic. When you look on Twitter, and see what people are commenting, just type Igbo on Igbo women that are maltreating their maid. Just type Igbo women maltreating their maid. What you will be seeing? Help, demand for justice. 10-year-old Kosi is currently lying. You don't buy. Different. This one happened in March 2021. Different stories abound everywhere you're looking. I don't want to show the pictures because of copyright and because of anything wey concerns small pikin, they know they like am. So, but if you people want, I will share the link on my WhatsApp group, so later you can go and see the thread and read it for yourself. You just have to look, it's there. So somebody was writing, I can clearly tell you that in every 10 Igbo women that with house help, 9 are dealing with the house help. The power of wickedness that they have, they cannot practice on their husband, they shift it to their men. I am Igbo and there are no reason to cover our women up here. Yes, this is endemic. So it's not saying that other people are not doing it, So, like someone is writing, he said, Igbo women are maltreating them. Yes, they are notorious in this. When their husbands are uplifting the men through Igbo Dube. Even the children, the young boys, and that their husband will bring, say they want to teach them the trade. Now, inside kitchen, they will still the answer to the madam. You imagine they will say the person should come and learn trade of how to sell something or do whatever. But now the woman, they go the answer. They go buy the woman. I don't witness one like that. Although I was this small when that one happened, but they brought the boy to come and learn chemist, like the man is a chemist selling medication, all this thing. Then they were living there. So wait till the woman take the small pikin, and I saw it buy that small pikin. It buy, and that one pass. Good evening, Ero Benny. I greet you. You say you want to hear criticism. This is an endemic. When something is endemic, that means it's a disease. It needs treatment. You need to look it in your face and treat it. And treat it. I'm not here to sweet talk you, because it's the sweet talk that is making you to be boasting. You are too much. You are too much. But then now you cry pass. Because if you are really too much, you will not need to cry. You will know how to organize yourself, arrange yourself, and everything will be going smoothly. But because you are not addressing your problems, you are not looking the problem in the face and calling it what it is, you will be continue to be beating your chest and say how great you are, and in the other hand, you will be crying how they are treating you, because it doesn't balance. Exactly. Even those boys that they go for training, do you know how many? That's why most of the time, all these things that Kanu is doing, all these boys, they went into it because they are disenfranchised from all fronts. Government is not doing anything. Government is just a parallel station. Government is here, the people are here, everybody doing their own thing. The government, they are just going their own, stealing the money, looting the money, embezzling it, sharing it among themselves, building houses, sending abroad, doing their own thing. It doesn't concern the people. Then the people on their own are on their own, doing their own things. And what are they doing? Maltreating poor children from poor families. You will send somebody, say, go and learn a trade. They will sign, say they will stay 7 years. That person, 10 years, you will not release him. You will not free him. You will not settle him according to your agreement. You have the agreement. Then last, you will say, oh, he stole. He did this. You will throw him out on the street. Somebody that spent 10 years of their development year with you. Huh? Good evening, Olisemeka, long time. You will throw them away. Why? And not think about any repercussion. Why? Because nobody will ask you, because you know there is no justice and you don't have it in your heart to do justice. You can't do justice. You talk about justice, but you can't do it in your own little way. Imagine if people were doing justifiable things to themselves. We will not be all over the place running helter-skelter looking for where to escape. Why? Because where you are coming from is hot already. You are looking for where to escape. You will see somebody, you will be working hard, you think you are putting things together, let that man buy. You will see the brothers will come out, all the village will come out, they will say everything belongs to them. They will see that the man has a young wife with young children, they don't care. They will lock the door, chase her out, they don't care what happened to her and the children. And then the woman will carry the children and go out. Like, what is going on is unbelievable. So the women from little children, they are exposed to so much inhumanity. They are exposed to so much inhumanity that it becomes a part of them, because nothing comes from nothing. Good evening. Because when somebody comes to life, it comes empty. You don't know anything. Everything you end up doing or practicing is what you learn, is what is taught. You understand? So if that same person is brought up in another environment where there is love, where they show love and equity and compassion, the person will end up being like that. The person will be like, to a very large extent, a very compassionate person. The person will not have that mean spirit to do something to the point of buying somebody, because you see the women from small child. They have seen it. They saw it with their mothers. They saw it with their neighbors, within the families. There's so much acrimony. There's no justice. It's always what I have against you, what I can do against you, and nobody will ask and nobody will know. And so they will take their pound of flesh on you with all their might. You see the same thing happening with the women when the men, for example, when they come to Nigeria, they marry somebody with all their good heart and intention, and they get abroad. You see, like the thing flipping immediately, and you like, But this man, he was thinking, okay, they can bring the women, they can work something out together, that they can build together, they can, that you'll be dreaming fantasy. Then the woman will just come and like, wow, now maybe this syndrome, before you know it, you become that maid that she did not have the opportunity to deal with in Nigeria, for example. She will deal with the man like, what they did do with the men, like they are so mean spirited, like you will be wondering like what is going on. Like, at least, like, for example, let's assume, say, okay, the marriage is not working, you are everything, at least you can walk away, like you can have peace, you can, at least, for the sake of, say, this man brought you from Nigeria, elevated you from one place to the other, for that sake you can say yes, and for the sake that this man is the father of my children, let's have some kind of amicable relationship so that the children can have relationship with their father. No, like, there are so many reasons you can say, okay, for the sake of this, for the sake of this, but between us it's not working. That one is understandable. So, okay, we can go our separate ways, but because of this, because we're coming from the same place, well, we can still have good relationship. We can still maintain some cordiality. No, they want it all. Like, before you know it, the person that came to abroad, that is building a house, bought a house, work his way up, work his house, did so much, built a house, paying his mortgage, thinking that now I will go and bring a woman, everything will be perfect. He will see himself on the streets of America, homeless, no pity. And like, I don't know where. I think this is an endemic problem that needs to be looked into. It needs to be looked into. If you go to Twitter, you go to social media, this thing begin to happen. Like, like, when there's a problem like this, say, anything as well, or anything, mean like this, say, women do. There are women from other places doing it too, but when you don't score 80%, even in Nigerian universities in those days, 70 is already an A. So when you are scoring A, like 70 over 100, then you have to give it to them. Like, you're excellent in this area. When you are scoring 70% above average of all other people, and the other people are sharing the remaining 30%, and you have the 100%, you are excellent in this profession, then it's an endemic problem in that section of the society. Good morning, Dominic. So the question is, why are the men incapable of providing any kind of succor for these children? You're welcome. You're welcome. Good morning. You know, why are the men unable to do anything? Why? I don't know. What is going on? Like, why are the women having the free hand to do like this? For example, if you are a man and there are children living under your care, okay, one of them is not your biological child, but is still a minor, is still under your care. Why are you not able to see that this child is not faring well? Like, why are you not able to see that the condition of this child is not good? Why are you not seeing that this child is in danger under your own roof? Like, why? Why? You understand me? I remember there was a video that was trending one time. Um, some people, I think they were Nollywood actors, they were driving past a street, a lonely street in the night, somewhere in Enugu, and they saw a young girl standing by a gate. And so they were wondering, like, it's like she was waiting for somebody. Then they saw that the girl was actually there, standing. You understand? So at the end of the day, they now went to the girl, they stopped their car, they went to the gate, and they were not talking to the girl and say, why is she here? What is going on? And then she was now saying her madam locked her out and something like that. So they started banging on the gate. That video trended. A lot of people talked about it at the time. And I looked at that video, I said, So they knocked at the door, and then the husband of the woman came out. And the husband was like very helpless. He was like, I don't know. This thing is too much. Like he doesn't have control of that situation. Like he was in that house living under bondage of the woman also. Like the thing was like unbelievable for me. And I will be wondering, like, okay, so you, even though you are a man and you are the father of the house, you are an elder, you now sit inside your house and you allow a woman to lock somebody outside of the gate in the night in a place like Nigeria at a time like this, a young girl, and you are inside in comfort. You are not opening that gate and coming outside and being there. You are not calling police. You are not taking any action. You are just inside. So when people now knock, you are not coming to be forming, oh, you are helpless. You have been telling her, like, I don't understand. In Asaba, thank you, okay, thank you. Our brother, exactly, which means they are both the same. They are both the same. So, which means at very young age, they are being exposed to so much heartlessness and wickedness. And this is the only thing their senses can pick up. And so, this forms a bedrock of their understanding. You get what I'm saying? It forms a bedrock of their outlook, of their world view, if you may. Yeah, it forms a bedrock of their world view. Like this famous man. What is this man that is a philosopher, a British philosopher? John Locke. John Locke, like I don't know how you pronounce it, like Locka. John Locka, John Locke. So he's a philosopher, and he put out this basic theories that every human being, like they call him the founding father of human rights, of liberalism, because he's from England. And at the time, only the kings, the Earl of Shitstorm and all these things, they are the ones that have the right to possess every land. They can decide who live or die, who live or die, and all those kind of things. A brother is writing something here, you understand? So this John Locke is the person that actually put it forth in the beginning that if population can have the right to life, because before that time, the king and the queens, the royal families were the ones deciding who gets that right, basically. So it was very radical at the time. So that's why most people know him as the founding father of liberalism, of democracy. Like, that's where it started taking shape. You understand? So when he said people have the right to life and they have the right to determine, whether they want to own something, they can possess a land. You don't have to say they have to rent the land and be paying taxes forever, that they can actually own. You understand? And he put forth these theories and said, and any society that cannot guarantee this, any society that cannot guarantee something like that, then it will be legitimate for the people to protest. So actually, he was pushing also forward the right to protest, actually, to go again, to come out and protest against something, basically fundamental things like that. So but up until that time was just the elite, the rulership, because if you look at England, it's hierarchy. Everybody knows where they are, and there is a hierarchical society even till today. So from then onwards, the right to life, the right to decide, the right to have a freedom, the right to possess land, something like that. You understand? So if you cannot guarantee the right to life of young people in your household, whether they are made, whether they are homo boy learning work, you cannot guarantee to a large extent their life, the quality of life that they have, then Tell me, like, where do you think you will learn equity and justice that you want to actually go and practice in your El Dorado? Like, your El Dorado is going to fall from somewhere, right? You know, this is an epidemic. I feel like it needs to be talked about. I don't know if anybody wants to share their experience with us. I will put the link, so anybody that wants to join us can actually express their own experience, because I know that when they write this thing, people talk about their experience is not nice. So let me read what our brother is writing. He said, Blessedom, when I was young, we had this Igbo girl who was a house help to her Igbo madam. There was nothing these people didn't do to that girl. Years later, she confessed to my sister that her Oga and Oga's brother were both benching with her. She would be around 14 or 15 at the time. Okay. So I didn't write it, this is it. There was a case that happened sometime in France. A Nigerian footballer, I think they are still inside now too. They took a young girl from Nigeria. They are also all Igbos, they went to France and they were doing all those things. And even the man was benching the girl, doing all those things in France. So the girl tried to go to the police several times until one time they finally decided to listen to her. And that was it. The whole thing blew. The man's house, everything, they lost everything. The children, everything they took from them. The man and the one, they went inside, Exactly. This thing, this problem you are seeing is the root of the cause of what is making people lose their mind, and because they have experienced so much suffering in different forms, you know. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so like, for example, now we are seeing all this thing that is going on. Like this man yesterday, him and his brother that we are taking out, like, there are so many things that they are doing, and all these people that they call themselves rich people and big people, why they are kind of demystified in the eyes of these boys that Kanu is using. It can also be something like this, because when they were small, when they were poor, when they didn't have anything, they were at their mercy, and they did not hear Bikono, Madam Bikono, Oga Bikono, Oga Bikono, Oga Ndono. They will say they will not hear. They will say Oga Bikono, Oga Bikono. They will not hear. They will beg and beg, but the begging will be increasing their punishment. And now, that thanks to Kano, they now have pipe in their hand. So it is their turn to exert power. So if you are saying one them Bikono, they don't send you message, because you never ever send a message in their lowly condition. You never ever send a message. You no ever listen to their Bikondo Ozola. No. You hammer until you buy. This is an endemic. You people need to go back into your soul and ask yourself, where is this ruthlessness coming from? It's an endemic as it is. In fact, as it is now, the federal government needs to create a law for this issue of this housemaid alone, that it's a federal offense. It's a criminal federal offense. If anybody is caught, but everybody in that household, including neighbors that will see something like that and close their eye, there has to be something done to protect these young people. Because from all these young people that you are treating like this, where do you think they will go tomorrow? What do you think is going to happen to them the next day? When they grow up, when you are aged, where do you think the humanity and fairness and compassion that they never got from you, where do you think is going to come from? They will never be able to have compassion on anybody, because nobody had compassion on them in their time of need. And you will see a teacher, she will see somebody that is coming in that condition. You will not be able to say anything, because the intimidation is real. Because these people, when they have the money, they can do and undo. They can go to any length to teach you a lesson. They can go to any length to teach you a lesson. And it's a bad place that the whole thing is going. So this recent news of what happened in Jos brought this whole thing to the fore again. So let me read further on the case again. He said the girl had scars, burns on her body. We were told that she was taken to Mandela Hospital in Kaduna, W0m, before she was referred to Jos. When some of our staff met with the suspect at the police station in W0m where she was detained, she confessed that she has been beating her and claimed the girl used to, of course, she will claim one thing or the other. So she was punishing her for that. Say she claimed she did not know what used to come over her because she felt bad anytime she beat the child. And then you will beat her again because you don't know what come over you, and then you will beat her again until you finally kpai the woman. Until finally you kpai the woman. So this is what actually brought the whole thing to the fore. Now that's why I'm actually sharing it with you. I want to show you what I'm talking about. So this is it. This is the woman here. This is it here. Are you seeing her? Can you see? Very young, very beautiful woman. Young, millennial. But even though she comes in an age where there is Facebook, where there is everything, it didn't change the outcome. She still couldn't stop. You don't buy the girl. You can't talk. And that's what I hate more about these people, that they will never own up their evil and say, yes, I did it. And then the day that of consequences, you will bear the consequences. No, they will always be saying, I did not know what happened to me. I was not with my senses. Like their onion dufu. After blowing hot, I've never preached anything. I never sent anybody to do anything. I've consistently, with loyalty with them, I'm preaching peace. They will never accept the wrong they have done. It's always somebody that they don't know what happened. It's the enemy that is trying to spoil all the legacy that they have built. They never know. That's what she wrote. She said she don't know what came over her. He said you will force her to go and sit down for inside otota, born in yash. E no reach you. How you go force person 11 years make e sit down on top of hot bucket of water? Wetin happen? Why? And you get husband, you get children, you want make e better for them. Shey you want make e better for your children, you want make e better for you for future. So they said during the Plateau State Coordinator of National Human Rights Commission. I'll post the link to this post on this. I don't want to share it here. He said it's the Plateau State Coordinator of the National Human Rights Commission, Mrs. Grace Palm, whose office is following up on the case, said based on the number of scars and wounds on her body, her guardians must have subjected her to a series of during the period she was with the family. Good evening, Vivian. I didn't write it. It's an epidemic. In the year 2020, I was watching a video on Facebook. There was a woman. If you see the woman, she's giant like this. Oh, our brother Chimezi is here.
Good evening, Blessedom.
Oh, good evening, my brother. You are welcome.
Thank you so much, and good evening to all. Basically, I saw this, the little girl and this car is heartbreaking. It's a collective failure of us as Nigerians and Nigeria as a country. I must admit it. Because one, this is not the first time it's happening. When will it be the last? When will the National Assembly and the relevant agencies rise up to do their duties? Now, don't get me wrong. If you go to the local level, you discover that they have ministries at the state level. What are they doing? And again, it comes to like, where has our compassion as human being gone to? They shouldn't just arrest that woman, the husband inclusive. Because when I see mothers maltreating defenseless children, that shows their height of ignorance. As I am now, my greatest fear in life is about, sometimes I discuss some certain things with my wife. If I pass on, how's she going to manage? She start panicking. I said, what is guaranteed I'm going to be here for this boy to get to uni? Nothing is guaranteed. I don't own my life. These women, do they actually think in this direction? If, for example, they discover that they have so much hatred towards that child, they have an option: send it back to their parents. Sometimes it's not about they can't feed these children. It's just that they have so much hate in their hearts. Say, for example, if I don't like your program, I don't like what you're doing, why I would even follow your page in the first instance.
Talk less of coming there to comment.
That is it. And that is why, even when, like most of these IPOB page, I don't even follow them. Because I just believe within myself, there's nothing there for me to learn. Now back to the topic is, when will these women begin to educate themselves? And I hope our siblings have seen if any of my siblings do that, I'll be the first to be on the front burner for her to face the full wrath of the law. Because one, my parents never raised up that way, despite that there was economic difficulties. And I remember growing up as a child, though we never had a maid, but I could remember vividly how people treated a maid, even making them to eat sour soup. This is, like you rightly said, this is an endemic problem. It is prevalent within us. And the same attitude cuts across. Most of us within our region, we tend to treat people that believe that financially they are weak without recourse or respect. The government, like Abra said, the other one happened in Asaba, that woman cried and put the little girl in a bag. Failures. Now, if the government, like I always say, the greatest thing any political party can do for Nigeria is to ensure that the Nigerian child is protected.
Yeah.
I've always said this in private and in open.
And like really put out a law and follow up on the law.
Like you said, this should be made a federal crime, like in America.
Yeah.
There are laws that are classified as federal crime, irrespective of where it's committed. And laws that are classified as cross-state crime. Say, for example, if the culprit moves from a particular state to another state to commit that crime, they need to tighten up the books. And importantly, not until the government begin to consider social welfare program, social contract for all Nigerians, at least. Who would want to give up their child for whatever reason? People are falling on hard times. Till date, we can see Nigerian child still hawking pure waters, selling these things. And now, when I read the story, bless my heart. For 2 years, she refused to enroll this innocent girl into a school, not even a public school.
Nothing. And on top of it, and now that's the painful part. Now she don't buy person. She now they say she don't know where to come over. So they will not settle now. They will leave her. She will not go and carry another person and continue from where she starts.
Like you said, it should be a federal crime, and so long Nigerian law, I don't want to say because of where I am, it's not permitted. So long Nigerian law is not against spying by popo or hanging, they should make it as the law so that others will learn.
So the question is, why always Igbo women? Why? Like, why are they getting 70% out of 100? Why is it always like most probably them? Out of every 10, minimum of 7 will be an Igbo woman. Why?
And this woman is educated. That is one thing that
They
hurts
are
me.
all there was one that trended, I think, in 2017 or 18, thereabouts. That woman, she was having a like an NGO for the right of girl child, promoting the right of girl child, whatever. Do you know she has a house girl, a small girl inside her house, and when she's going out, she go lock the gate. The pikin no dey go school. Now girl person wey get NGO wey say dey fight for the right of the girl child, but inside her house she lock person pikin for there.
Blessedom, I don't know if you saw the video, the one that made this boy to sleep in a dog's cage.
I
Oh,
saw
woman, I
that
swear.
video. I even got a strike because of it on YouTube. That's when I became aware that anything children, you don't just post it like that.
Yeah, you
And it
know,
was a young girl, and it was her relative. It was someone that was her relative.
I mean,
It's not like this one that you can say, okay, she went to take somebody. And there are people who tell stories of their own blood sibling, like their own brother, their own sister, their own mom, sister, like all those kind of tales,
yeah, even biological parents. My thing is this: if people can realize and be honest to themselves that they don't love these children around, being around them, Nigeria has laws. They can give up those children for adoption.
Yeah.
There are
And
processes.
above all, whatever you do, stop beating and torturing them and all those things,
Now, that woman, is she even thinking? Is her husband even thinking? How can you torture a defenseless 11-year? I know children can be annoying because I have a toddler. But at the end of the day, as an adult, you have to have that restraint. You have to restrain because they can get on your nerves. I'm not denying that. They can be so misbehaving. I'm not.
Like it doesn't matter. Even we ourselves, we get on our own nerves.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk less of,
I mean,
good evening, Ikenke.
the Nigerian society needs to sit up. And such things is not, like I said, we've seen the ones even in Cross River where children were nailed, accused of whatever.
Please moderate your words, my brother.
Oh,
we're on Facebook.
yeah, sorry. So the government needs to sit up. At the end of the day, when do we begin to see these things become a national issue? When do we begin to see
For example, in Yoruba culture, for example, most time children across family, like from different children, they stay with one mama. They will just generally care for them in the general need. So nobody will not generally be punishing anybody or doing, understand, people will just live together and be subsisting, something like that. No special treatment, no exceptional treatment. And I think something like that abounds around the northern people also. I don't know. But for example, I used to have a good friend, and they are from the middle belt, and they were a little bit better off, and the brother of this woman was not so much better off. But they took the child of the wife and the child from the husband side, two. One was older, and they were living with them in their own house, and there was no exception. They were going to the same school that their children went to. You understand? But then when they got to go to boarding school, they went to the same federal government college. They just made sure that they posted that girl to the state where her father was. So they got the same education, basically. And but you don't see something like that among our people. There must be a difference. They will try to make a demarcation, but because this woman this is her own brother's child, it's almost like her own child. And this man, this is her own sister's child, it's also like his own child. And they brought these two children together with their own, and all together they raised these 8 children, and they are all doing fine in their own way. They don't have any trauma, you understand? So I've seen a lot of Yoruba families that people just bring their children, mama, they stay with mama, something like that, and they just have a roof over their head. Mama will provide what he can and something like that. But in our own case, I've also seen like people that were neighbors that went to get somebody from the village, and man, like the things they were doing. And for example, I also saw one that it was her sister, Her sister was not too well to do, and the sister had this very brilliant child, and the child was living with them, and she was supposed to pay the school fees, so they put them all in the same school. And the husband was dropping the money for the school fees, but she will not pay the school fees. She will be delaying it. She will be delaying it. And then they will be chasing the girl from the school. They will chasing this girl from school. Then eventually, something happened. I don't even know. Then they just kind of withdrew the girl and sent her back to her parents. And the girl was actually very brilliant. When they did the common instant federal government federal entrance exam, the girl passed exceptionally. So I just see that kind of lack of love, like lack of oneness, like not seeing another child. As long as you are not the one that gave birth to this child that is marked, that's it.
So on this issue, honestly, I put 100% blame on the government, because if the government cannot do anything for any Nigerian, at least they need to look at ways at protecting the Nigerian child. Because this is where the failure comes from. If they had made it possible that no matter the economic background of any child, they can go to school, a good, this goes back to what we've been saying for years. If they had made our public schools good and free and affordable, like every child under 18, we can afford to, so long I'm concerned, Nigeria can afford a benefit system. At
Yeah.
least let's forget about the adults. Even if we want to take care of the elderly, those who fall on hard times, but every child under at least 16 must be on
Good
a
evening, Mamaka.
data. If these things were provided, most of these children would not face this thing at a young age. And since I came to Europe, I came to realize that practically, apart from children that come from a well-to-do family, every Nigerian child is being robbed of their childhood. I will explain. You see, as young as 4 or 5, they're already beginning to fend for the family. Selling articles, dropping out of school, trying to help their
Wow,
parents.
thank you so much for the thanks, Alex CJ. I salute you.
Dropping out of schools to help their mothers to, sell article, akara, pure waters. And you know what? That is sometimes when I look at some certain things, I just cringe. At the end of the day, the government, they need to focus more on this if truly they want to save this situation.
Yeah, because why Western sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short. Yeah. Why Western world invest in children is because it's paying it forward. If you create this uniform system from small, give the children, treat them well, ensure they're taken care of, then you have a balanced society. Adults, productive actors, adults that are less traumatized because of all these kind of things. But if you leave your society into this kind of situation, like this, our sister is saying, she pounded yam for the whole family and they went to eat it and they didn't even give her one pieces to eat. How can that be fair?
Blessedom, that is extremely, extremely common in Nigeria. Even some you can tell, the church members, even most pastors, you can even tell who the housemaid is. And you know what? The society failed us, and we keep failing ourselves. Most of the men cannot even fight for the right, like you rightly said, for the right of these children. And most of the men, at least every man knows the character of the wife, and every wife knows the character of the husband. So they need to checkmate each other. Majority of them, they let these children stay late into the night. And these are adults, like kids. At the end of the day, I would, go back on the government, the state government. They need to do more.
They need to do more,
They need to do more. For example, if they
Good
can
evening, John.
if they can afford to, like, even if it's 10,000 per children or per child in Nigeria, it's not much. We can afford
It's
it.
not more, but one person will still want to embezzle it so that he will build only mansion that they will come and worship him. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, now look at Ike Kweremadu. Let me just use an example. Look at the number of houses seized. Look at Dazan and Alice Madueke. And yet you see people trying to make excuses for these persons. I don't have to explain it anymore. You know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I get what you are saying. Like there are problems. Like you can have an epidemic, but there is an endemic problem among this population, and
Bless.
this is it. And so because if we're not treating the endemic problem in this region, how can we solve the problems that is emanating from that disease? So, because why do you treat sickness and disease to avoid the repercussions of not treating it, Abby? So, if you are not treating it, like there's something you posted, I don't know whether you are the one that posted that James Baldwin said that you may not be able to change everything you face, but by facing it, you may be able to change some, But
Absolutely.
the starting point is to face it and say, yes, this is a problem. And in the village square, let everybody come and say, let them start the conversation that needs to be had. Why do you feel comfortable to disenfranchise and disinherit young women with children? You know, why do the women feel comfortable to maltreat the children under their ward without nobody questioning it? Why is it like a cultural norm that any child that you didn't bath, you will now have the right to do as you please to them? You understand me? Because it's almost like an unspoken agreement that I'm not the mother of this child, and so because of that very singular fact, this one is free for all. I can do as I please. I can maltreat. I cannot send her to school. I cannot send her to learn a trade. I cannot be equitable. I cannot help her in any way. I can just take advantage when I'm okay. When I'm finished, when I have no more use for it, I'll throw them out.
And again, I think if this is doable, families that have children that are staying with relatives, they need to develop paying unannounced visits, to see how their relatives are doing. Because at the end of the day, I'm not denying the fact it is common among the Igbos. It's something that needs to be addressed. And these are part of the wider discussion on Hanese and Igbo and the so-called Hanese worldwide. They will not
Yeah,
venture.
but instead they are crying every day. They are marginalizing us. Oh, and you are marginalizing little small pikin wey dey inside your house, in
So
your homes, like literally in every home. As we are talking now, one small pikin dey suffer the suffer wey una create for am.
I'm
While
telling
una dey talk about freedom, una dey do bad. Dey
I,
do
I'm,
e.
I'm even the funny thing is that most of these children are within the age bracket within their own biological children.
Eh.
And like I did say, at the end of the day,
And then the children are exposed to that kind of treatment and it becomes normal. Like, you understand? So already there's no empathy. Empathy makes them to see that child and say, this is like my own child. This is like my age mate. Why am I getting this and this child is not getting it? Oh, this is not fair.
you're
Empathy
going
blocks.
far. They finish eating.
So psychologically, they block that part in the brain of their children. They can never be empathic to anybody
And this,
because
then,
they didn't grow up to see any form of empathy.
yeah, and they grow up seeing these things and they believe it's normal. It's just like a little child growing up in an abusive environment. They believe it's normal. And you see them, even their children don't do nothing, ranging from even trying to take things off the dining table or even to do anything. It's something that we must admit is common amongst us. It's something that needs to be discussed, and it's something the federal government needs to, look at ways, at least, not that they can eradicate these things, but ameliorate it to bring it to a bearable minimum that a Nigerian child should feel protected and they shouldn't be robbed of their childhood.
Yeah. Like I remember back then in my village, there was a case whereby when the women had a meeting that they were attending, all the married women in the village, they attend the meeting. And in that meeting, where is the love, my brother? I don't know. And in that meeting, like they discuss issues concerning their life in the village and whatever. But one thing is, if a woman is maltreating another child, a child that is not her own, or is doing any bad thing, or is cited that he did any bad thing even against her husband, against her co-wife, against her neighbor, whatever, you know, then they will go and report her with the women in their women meeting. So in that women meeting, they will not judge the case. And if the woman is guilty, they will fine her. They can say she will bring goats. They will say she will bring chicken. They will collect wrapper. They will say she will bring this judge, something like. Do you know that singular act checkmated a lot of women in the village at that time? And everybody was being careful that they are in their best behavior at that time. So those women that time, you never see them raising their hand to touch anybody, because somebody will see, they will go and tell. So you see that kind of subtle psychological something that they may be doing. They will not outrightly deny you food and say you are not going to eat food. Maybe the quantity you may get may not be the quantity you would get, but you get to eat. And they cannot say you cannot go to school, because in the village everybody must go to school. So if you don't allow the child that is under your care to go to school, you enter wahala with the women group. They will ban you to trade in the village market. They will ban you to the church back seat. They have the things that, depending on your offense that you commit at the time. So this was how they were checkmating this. And I didn't even understand the overall backdrop that something, there was a prevalent problem that women were going extra length to do bad things to children that were not their own. It was later that when I was growing up that I began to understand. Because, for example, if you remember, I told you there was a young girl that they used to exchange money, that was my classmate. On a normal circumstance, I'm very sure that girl will not go to school. But because if she did not go to school, that woman that will use that to collect money is in problem in the woman meeting. So she has to go to school like every other child. You cannot openly do anything to anybody, even their own husbands. Now, like if they say your husband go and complain, say they cook for us, or they make problem, voila, So that was the women. I don't know much about how it was coordinated, if there was a higher power above the women, but I know that it was women meeting, and this was what they were doing. You're welcome back, my brother.
It's quite
It's
disappointing.
true. It's true. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's very hard. Me, I continue to say this. I was very fortunate because I didn't have to go and live with anybody. Instead, I had to live with my step grandmother and my own. I live with my step grandmother mainly. And there was, it was just like I was almost like a pampered, if you may, like I didn't, like I was a village boy, if you will say, like I didn't have that kind of trauma to say. And even though she was my step grandmother, but in the real if sense of the fact, like, but she's like there, like the mother that we had, you understand, in the family, you know and she played her part, and there's no blame for her. Like, I cannot say she did anything. Like, even at the time, I didn't like going to school. I didn't really like going to school. If they left me, I will not go to school. Like, they will say, bring this thing, come and do this. They give us task, the things we need to complete. She will be doing it for me because she wanted me to go to school by all means. Even when I ended up one time, I'll go with my friends, I'll go into the bush, we'll go and be playing in pig kennel, just kind of didn't go to school. Then when school is over, we'll not come back to school. We enter, there's a place we'll pass under the door to go and carry our bag. One day they caught us. When they beat us in the assembly, I cried. I did not even go into the class. I cried and went straight back to go and bring my grandmother. That one was coming. Hey, you people want to kill her? Because you don't have mother. Hey, oh, they call the beggar mo say that. So I don't have that experience. So I don't know how people do this. So, like me, I cannot be like that because I did not have opportunity to learn that kind of mean-spiritedness. Even though I was in a very good place to be a candy, like a cardinal example, but I am not. So obviously there are some few people that are good at heart, but when you look around you, I saw so many things, I saw so many things, and I will cringe at the idea, honestly, that people can go to bed without giving the child under their care food, and they will sleep knowing that that child has worked the whole day, fetch water the whole day, went to fire, fetch firewood, especially in Lagos. In Lagos, it was brutal what I saw in Lagos. Whenever I went to holiday in Lagos, I was like, what? Like the children, they will fetch water, they will send them to go and hawk, they will not send them to the same school their children are going to. But then in the village, everybody had the same school. There was no room for that separation. So it was, I don't know how to explain it, like I see so many people that they are not able to control the conditions that people that are living in their house is living in, and it baffles me when they come out and they have a say, they have an opinion, and they say, oh, maybe this person is not doing well, and people will look at them and say, like, hello, is it not under your care that somebody is treating somebody like this inside your own house, you know so like the thing is unbelievable for me. But I have to be grateful that I didn't go through that personally. You understand?
Like you rightly said, and these are Nigerians that will come to cry about the government, how bad the society is. And I've always said, Nigeria is a country. It is us Nigerians that make Nigeria what it is. And I wish the relevant authorities, and this is what I've been saying, Nigerians will lack empathy, and will lack it at the national level and on all fronts. Without being insensitive, because these, little children, they are not children of celebrities. Their names are not household. It's not trending on Twitter. No places are agog. Nobody's putting no pressure. If we can, if Nigerians, when I say thank you to you, but you don't understand why I'm thanking you always. Now, when we look at Nigeria as a country, we have bigger platforms. With all due respect to your platform, if most of these top celebrities, like Tunde North, Lindy Cage, if they can follow, they can even use their platform to wake up the government from slumber, to push every relevant button. But they will not do it because of one, it's not the child of a celebrity. It's just an ordinary Nigerian. So the life of ordinary Nigerian do not matter. Any society, like the place I'm living, the life of the ordinary child matters a lot. God forbid. But if it does happen, children do go missing, it becomes a national issue. The parents will be under severe interrogation from the society. The police will be up and doing. The local neighborhood watch, not until that child is found.
Exactly.
And inquest is set up.
Yeah.
For those that live in London, they
Yeah.
can tell about school children that has gone missing. Some were found in the woods after they've died. They piece every information together to find out what led to that final moment. Some, people just buy them, abuse them. Sometimes language. And this entails from the last point that child was seen, they start combing every CCTV, putting together every intelligence, and this costs resource. Now there's one people may know, Madeleine McCain. She went on holiday with the parents in Portugal and got missing. If the Scotland Yard has not spent, London Met, they spent over £3 million on investigation. Not to even talk about man.
I know. I know. Part of the investigation even led to this country here. Yeah, I remember.
Now, not until we get to that point. But society can only get to that point when those who have voice champion it. Majority of what we are suffering in Nigeria, nobody is willing to champion anything. And those with the voice, they believe it doesn't concern them. They only want to speak for people of their own class. Who will speak for the ordinary Nigerian?
And I think that is still part of the lack of empathy we are talking
That is,
about.
there's no empathy. I mean,
Yeah, because okay, for example, look at these
Blessedom,
politicians now.
just 1 minute. You will be the worst thing which I've experienced in Nigeria. You even go to the police station, they dismiss it. You know, now personal problem. I mean, now where is the so-called Minister for Women Affairs or whatever?
Okay, now.
Without being sensitive to this Nachi family. Oh, these things have. When do we put a stop?
Yeah, it should be at law. The children should not be working. Talk less of be the servant of a whole family. A child of 11 will not be, she will wash cloth of a man of 60, 40, 50 years.
What is
She will
stopping
be
the
the
National Assembly from passing a law, or state of assembly, making it, a national crime to have any child under 18 under a watch as a housemaid or
yeah,
let me not use the word has domestic staff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's why when I'm looking at the candidate and the discussion, I feel like the important things are not even being talked about.
Blessedom, I've said these things on your previous broadcast. Say, for example, when the UK realized that there are people that are undocumented, they were being exploited, they were being used, they now had to pass in 2017 the Anti-Modern Day Slavery Act. That law specifically is to protect vulnerable people. Who are those that are vulnerable? They come to realize, yes, there are population that are not documented and they can't seek for job legally. They are being underpaid. They are being maltreated. And secondly, there are people that are working in farms in conditions that are not habitable to human beings. They put these laws in place to checkmate it. And which is part of this guy Kuremado brought. That law is protecting him.
Mm.
Now, you see, my sister, Nigerians, we are not ready to live in a country yet. Every Nigerian that is crying Nigeria is not good. They just want a Nigeria that works to their own benefit.
Yeah, but like I don't really want to make it like it's a national problem, all right, but it's an endemic problem for our own region.
Absolutely. And that is what I'm saying.
And if we can start getting better from every corner, it will come to a congruence in the center. But it has to start from our own side.
That's what I'm saying. The state assemblies, for example, now, Abia State, there's no law protecting the vulnerable children of Abian origin or indigens. The state has to do more. The
If the
government has
state
to do
can
more.
provide free and equal education for all children, then it will be able to mandate that every child of so age must go to school.
That is it.
And so every child must be in school. So there will be no room for any child to be in any yaya family slaving away. You know? And so that's where it can start from. So the people that are crying marginalization, they want freedom, they want Eldorado. How can't you start it from your own end? These are all possible.
You even see them coming back home, promising their families, of these young children they are taking in, they're going to give them a better life, go back to enslave them. Which
It is very bad of our people. It's very bad, and they will like one brother was telling a story. Like, let me read the story our brother wrote here. He said, I remember my first year in University of Calabar when I was living in a house of one Newi woman. She treats me like a piece of shit. Sending me all kinds of derogatory messages. She even said that her children will not attend the University of Calabar when I was schooling. Her mouth closed the day my mother visited me with 1996 Mercedes model with which relegated her pure water golf car as always. So it was a problem of class for her then.
I've witnessed it
Um,
while growing up. The only luck I have is I'm blessed today that my both parents are alive till
Oh,
this
we
minute.
are talking about how women from our side are always in the news for not taking care of the children that they call maid.
Because at the end of the day, I've seen how other people treated other people's children, which is very, very sad.
And the thing is, like what you are saying, it also applies. For example, here, if something is happening, it doesn't have to be the parents that will come from the village to see it. It's enough for the neighbor to hear the child crying. It's enough for a passerby to see the child and say, what is going on? They will report. You understand me? So, but there have to be an agency that is responsible and actively working against this, and that the women will know that they are criminals. So, any woman that is doing this kind of a thing, it's okay to call her a criminal because she's a criminal. Because it's a criminal offense. It's not you they waiting they do no good. No, you they do criminal something. You be criminal. You be thief. You be woman molest. You be like all bad words. You can put it inside. You not be say you be bad. You they break the law. You understand? So once you put it in that context, say these women wanna they do this kind of things, and then why neighbor go they see that they go come on eye. Okay, now where the girl don't buy, una they happy. But una could have said that girl before. Una they picking where they force make it sit down for a bucket of hot water and a small thing. You don't know the shout.
Blessedom, did you even see the body, the scars and everything? I mean, that shows that woman don't get soul. She's soulless.
It's also and the man, see the man, young man. I'm sure that one go carry a probably matter for head. Hey, they are marginal, but look at people will come inside your house.
That is it.
Una not get any sense of justice.
That is it. Like you said, now this is just within his own household. He could show. You even use the word equity. Let me use the word fairness, because equity is even more. Equity is even bigger than equality. Let's even forget about equity, because when you use the word equity, that means you're asking for too much. Let's use the word fairness. He can't even try to be fair. Got fairness, he would accommodate some bias. But when you say equity, that means even past equality. They ask what you're asking is even too much, which is irrespective of the disparity. Everything should be no. I can agree. This is not your biological child, but can you be fair to this child?
Yeah, but when you are so much the one always crying for lack of equity and all these things, shouldn't you be the one that know better?
That is it. It's
like since you already have this sense of marginalization, this sense of mistreatment, so wouldn't you be at the forefront of the one doing it right? Let's assume there is a heart that is thinking.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
It's an epidemic. Like if you go to Twitter, like just type it on Twitter, you will see. People writing different things. They will say Igbo women and their it's just something the government need to start looking into all this. I'm just angry seeing this kind of news. Is a trend. It's been trending since this one. House helps are like Siamese twins. The Igbo women and their house helps are like Siamese twins. Very horrible traits. They are just buying their maid. It's no longer news. And somebody don't want us to talk about it. They want us to talk about what Fulani is doing. But this is the fundament of the problem we are having. That people cannot live in Igbo land because of all this kind of problem. And because of all this suffering and all this disenfranchised, people who have children that nobody to take care of. You go and take the children and say you want to train them in market, you want to send them to school. You don't do anyone. You put them inside her, buy them. And nobody is saying anything.
Now you see most of these people with ethnic lens, they are more focused on, they will tell you talk about Alamajiri, this, that. Whereas the cultural deprivation within us, they don't want to talk about it. The program previously, I keep saying, which is key, the enfranchising or this inheriting of women. Nobody. I hope she forgives me, but I'll just disguise this story. A lady, the husband, what the family was most interested is to take everything, including the vehicle, including the landed property document, everything, without even thinking, at least their late brother has the child. Will that child go to school? Will that child feed? Will they sleeping on the streets? And here, Gwandi Igbo. You know, most of them now they cry. They hate us in Nigeria. But none of them are willing to address the injustices within our own communities. The oppression within our own community. Who speak for them?
You know, like generally, like when you come outside, say they are not treating you well outside, you know, say, okay, these people, they. Then you can have a recluse inside where they will be treating you well. At least you can subsist within it, that you're inside, everything will be fine, you know, until say you go out, Abby. That's supposed to be the experience Igbo people supposed to be having. Say, when we are within ourselves, living under ourselves, we are having it good. Is our problem begins when we interact with Yoruba, when we interact with Hausa, but that's not the reality on ground. Our problem starts from the cradle within our families, you know, from where you are small, where they will expose you to all this kind of a thing. Imagine a young man that sees his mother disenfranchised like this. Imagine a young girl that went to live with the brother's wife or the mother's sister or whatever, and come back with all this trauma. Where do you think that thing will go? It's coming back into the society in another way. And first of all, she's going to see they were able to do this to me because I am poor, because I don't have anything, you know. And so the person is going to do and undo whatever it takes to get that money, so that he will go to that village and show them job. Say that person you people look down on, you people did anything, anyhow. Now income be this now. You see? So there's a direct link. What all this is coming back, what goes around comes around. You don't show any empathy on the people. You are a politician, they'll give you money to build school, you will chop it. But you will send your own children to school in America, in Canada, because they will exist in a space, Abi. They will not mingle. That's what you don't like. You don't want them to mingle because they are special, you know. But you forget that the only thing that builds community and society is when you carry everybody along. Then you can have a meaningful society. And then at the end of the day, we have a society where everybody is trying to escape from. Everybody have been trying to escape Alibo all this time. Why? Because we have not been able to go inside ourselves and look into the problem. If I didn't live in the village as a little child, I didn't even really know anything, but I was seeing so many things. You know, it was when I grew up that I started to make the connection. Nobody can tell me anything, say, oh, they do like this, because you can see the mechanisms of how the things are working. And it's not nice. It is not nice. And when you are not even trying to embrace your problem and find a solution, instead you are looking for who to blame, then the problem will continue to increase. Thank you, Ezioku. Our brother is saying, come to this Igbo crime marginalization. Please, let's point out this marginalization. Me, I don't know them. You know, that's another conversation. But, you know, I'm just looking at it from the, you know, point. Like there was a situation whereby my younger sister, like there's this woman, she was going for a mugo. She was living with a child. And she was going for mugo, so there was nobody the child will stay with. So they asked my sister to stay, like that the girl should stay with my sister for a little bit, so that you know, when the woman comes back, she's going to take time, like maybe 3 months before she will come back, so that the girl will not be living alone. in the house with this woman where she was in the village. So they brought this child to my sister, you know. So they brought this child to my sister, and this child was living with my sister. And man, just within that 3 months, this child just kind of blossomed. And when they came to pick her, the child didn't want to go back to the grandmother she was living with in the village. They were like, So eventually they had to persuade her to go, because, you know, she can't live in the city with them, and they need her where the woman has finished her homework, she's going back, you know. So when they went to the village, everybody was looking at the child and was like, wow, that how come this woman, this young girl, was able to take care of this child to this extent. Within 3 months, this girl blossomed, begin to grow, even, you know, all her feminine features were coming out. They were like, wow, you understand. And so they were like, wow, you are a very nice person. Oh. And my sister was wondering, like, she doesn't even understand what they are saying. Like, you know, she was supposed to maybe be mean to the girl, not feed her. Like, you know, she was like, but where would she that? Where would she have learned something like that? Because we were not exposed to something like that. You understand? So, and a lot of, so that's why I'm making the connection that many of the women that behave like this have been exposed to it as a child. In their subconscious mind, there is a lack of empathy there that has been embedded to, from what they were exposed to, what they saw, the reality in the places that they grew up. It was a persistent feature that their mother did not treat somebody kindly, that their parents did not, you know, deal with people with kindness, and so it became a natural thing for them. And so they can, when you are crying, they can't relate. They don't understand. They can't be there with you. You are not human in their eyes again. If you are lowly, if you are not in their class, something like that, you know. So
Yeah.
where I'm going with all the, okay,
No, no. I saw you're making the whole point, and at the end of the day, the husband or the husbands of these women, they are equally as guilty as their wives.
yeah,
Because hey, these are human beings.
yeah,
They will cry when going through that. Let me use the word T word
yeah,
of algorithm. So the man would not claim not to be around most of the times when this is happening. What is his stance? Did he rebuke the wife? Was he willing to fall out with the wife for that, particular, character?
mm,
You see, Igbo, we need there are discussions people are shying away from,
yeah.
and
And you know, I know they are going to hate me. They will say, "Oh, you are
uh,
hating on it." But I see that if you can treat these children right, like me, I was treated right, even though I didn't. My parents were not there. I was treated right, so I can know what is right. You know, I can have compassion on people. I can. You understand what I mean? Because I wasn't exposed to that. But if I was exposed to that, it would be a normal something.
yeah,
And instead, you'll be looking for opportunity to show revenge, you know. And any opportunity you get, like these boys are doing, are taking it out, and all the so-called big men in Alibo now, erasing them without flinching, you know,
yeah.
because they are exposed to so much belittling and taking advantage of, and all this kind of mistreatment, you know. So, in conclusion, what I want to end with is like what our brother have written. Let us all start with injustices happening in our families, because even as a child, we know and we saw things too. I think it's a good place to end this video, right?
100%.
Yeah, thank you so much, my people. Let's look at the injustice that is happening in our own domot. Look at the Igbo women in your families, your sisters, your mothers, your sister-in-laws, and look at the people living under them. What is the condition that they are living under them? Don't look away and say it's not my problem. I don't want their wahala. But you like to talk about point to Amajiri. You know, a child that was denied going to school because he's a maid inside your father, your brother's house, your sister's house, you know, your mother's house, is also an Amajiri in another form. What is going to become of that child? Okay, a child that went to do one boy to learn a trade and he spent 10 years in your house, and then you set him on the road without settling him. That is also a margery you have created. What is going to become of him? You don't care
And,
because
and,
it's
and,
not your family member, because it's not your brother. But you've taken away his productive years, the years he could have learned a skill. You have learned anything, you couldn't start him up. You set him up for failure. That is an margery right there. So let's look inwards. Injustices going on in Alibo. You need to address it to get to the root of the lack of ethics and lack of norms, moral values in the society of Igbo. You understand? Let's end this problem and say no to all forms of slavery. Thank you, John. No to all forms of slavery, all forms of enslavement in the name of house girl, one boy. End it. And the one boy is a good measure. We can actually elevate it like a skill acquisition program. When children finish primary school, they go in for skill acquisition. Then you open colleges of or institute of technicalities to teach them different kinds of skill, and you give them certification for that, and they can use the skill they have learned to go and learn to go and offer services and earn a living. We can do better, but we have to look in one and look for solutions. All this petty crying is not solving the problem. And when I look at all these boys that Kanu and his minion are using, you will look at them. Some of them are so young, 18, 19. They are so young. Some they've been running around with Kanu since they are 19, 18, 20. Today they are like 30. They've been in this running amok for the past 30 years, 10 years, so they're like 30 and they've wasted like 12 years of their life. And so we are practicing the same thing we are crying about. Let us give freedom to the children in our lives, in the families, in the name of maid. Freedom for maids, freedom for homo boy, freedom for poor widows, freedom for the orphans that their fathers have passed. Say no to slavery in Igbo land by Igbo people in any form, in any format, anywhere. Stop it now. Make it a case and accept it for what it is. It's a crime against humanity, and it's a crime against the rights of the child. My brother, I give you the last word.
yeah, Blessed, I've nothing much to add. So I don't kill the keynote you've made. I'll say thank you so much for always finding time to discuss such issues that affect Igbo. And I'll use this medium to call on other Igbos with bigger platforms. They need to add their voices because these things are going viral on social media. Everyone is seeing it. But I know we all have our bias. We all have our areas of interest. They only pick things that suits them. And, if we can address, like our brother Izoku also have said, I don't know if it's a man or woman, if we can begin to focus on the injustices within our families that happens, then we'll begin to make the Igbo society a better place. And for every man that is out there, the first duty you have is not just as a husband, is to protect your household. So long you have the health, the wellness, the mental health, and the person of sound mind. Protect your household. Moreover, those in Nigeria, the laws does not work very well there. They need to look out mainly for the house help. What time did they go to bed? What time did they wake up? Streamline these things. I know most women are extremely lazy. They need to watch out for the household and protect this and let them understand whatever that exposes that little child to live with them can equally happen to them as if, to their own kids. Because if it's falling on hard times or the demise of their parents, this thing can happen to any person.
There's no guarantee. Yeah.
Good night from here.
Good night. Thank you so much, everyone. I salute you all. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. See you tomorrow by the grace of God. Bye for now. Bye.